Hey guys, hope everybody's doing well today. Beautiful northern Georgia day here today. Guys, I know it's been a while since I posted anything. Been a lot going on, and plus it just really hasn't been anything too much out of the ordinary to show you. But I felt like it was time to do an update. As you guys have been following my videos, you know I've been trying some experimental, a lot of experimental different things in here this winter to see how they respond and everything like that. So kind of what we're going to do today is just go over that and just kind of give you the results and my opinions on what I would recommend and wouldn't recommend growing in the wintertime in a greenhouse. I've done a video like this similar last year, but like I say, you know, whenever I do new things, I try to keep you guys posted so you'll know, well, you know, I might not ought to try that, or you know, maybe I can do something different, you know, and all that he did that you know, to where I can make it work better or whatever like that. But it just so many variables, guys, in gardening, especially trying to garden inside of a greenhouse in the wintertime. You know, unless you're really, you know, commercially equipped, which I am not. I mean, you know, I'm equipped fairly well in here to grow most things in the wintertime, but you know, I mean, it would, you know, the heating is the biggest problem. Even though I've got a big 240 volt electric heater, I mean, you know, it's only capable of doing so much. It's really only about half the size of what it calls for a building this size. But it does keep the greenhouse, you know, at a livable, moderate temperature. But the problem is with some plants, particularly what I was noticing, heirloom plants, heirloom tomato plants, don't seem to cotton too well to cooler nights. You know, nights sometimes getting down in the low 50s in here at night. Sometimes it just depends on if it drops down in the 20s or whatever like that. It can get in the upper 40s in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start off with the tomatoes, the experimental tomatoes that I've never tried before in here hydroponically. I've grown a lot of them outside. Outside's a big difference, especially just, you know, when the nights don't get below, you know, 65, 70 degrees, you know, and everything. They're going to do wonderful. But let's start off here with the Cherokee Purple. This is an heirloom. The plant started off really good back when I first started the greenhouse up for the fall and everything. Of course, the temperatures are still warm outside. You know, nights wouldn't drop below, you know, in the 60s. Still doing good. Probably wasn't even really calling for any heat to come on, anything like that. They started off like gangbusters. I mean, they were just growing like crazy. Took off, lots of blooms, lots of bloom clusters, lots of fruit set. And then as the months progressed, you'll see in this video right here clip where I showed you the bloom drop off, blossom drop off. Started getting problems with that. I mean, the production just started dropping really way down. And although, I mean, you know, they have picked back up. I mean, you know, like I said, they're just not as prolific as some other tomatoes would be. Now, I'm also going to rate these things probably on a scale from 1 to 10 as far as taste, production, and so forth, and give you my opinions on it. Like I say, the heirloom, I just don't think like the greenhouse environment in the wintertime. So that's going to apply to all of these, but I am going to give you my opinions on the taste and flavor and such on the Cherokee Purple. Flavor was magnificent. It was no disappointment. If anybody's ever had a Cherokee Purple tomato, then you know how good they taste. I mean, that good old down-home heirloom taste, just juicy, wonderful flesh, was nice and firm on the inside. Loved them. Didn't get a lot of production out of them, but you know, but just for us, you know, though, it's been plenty. You know, especially for only one plant. You know, I only did one of these plants of each. Aside from the big beefs. I did do 2 big beefs, you know, versus 1 of each of the heirlooms. But the Cherokee Purples, taste-wise, I'm going to rate them an 8.5 to a 9. And then as far as prolificness, I'm going to give them about a 7 to a good 6.5 to a 7. And but other than that, guys, I mean, that's where we were on those. I mean, they you know, they didn't disappoint me in the least, but kind of just turned out kind of like the way I figured they might. But anyway, this is going to get long here if I don't move on. Let's move on down to the Brandywine red. Now this is a Brandywine red right here. Guys, I mean, you know, the prolificness and stuff is just like the Cherokee Purple. They kind of did the same thing. And you know, Brandywines aren't known as a real prolific tomato anyway, especially when you're growing them single stem. I mean, all these tomatoes are grown single stem, of course. There's no suckers. Everything comes off of the main stem of the plant. So, you know, that's going to cut some production down too on the Brandywines, whereas if I'm growing them outside, I will not sucker them. I'll leave them, you know, let them do whatever they want to do. And that's true with all the tomatoes I grow outside. I do not sucker outside. But in the greenhouse, you don't have much choice. You can't, if you let them things just go like they want to go. I mean, you know, it'll be a jungle in here, and nothing will get any light, and you won't be able to pick or walk or anything. But anyways, I'll rate these as well. Now the Brandywines, I was disappointed. As you saw from the picture of the tomato right there, that's a beautiful tomato. I mean, you know, the Cherokee Purples and the Brandywines have grown. Size was not disappointing at all. They grew. I mean, I've grown some of them. A couple of them, a few of them were 2 pounds. I didn't weigh these things on camera, show you guys, so you just don't have to take my word for it. But if you look at the size of that tomato that you saw in the picture right there, you could tell. I mean, it's way bigger than my hand. So I didn't even weigh that one. It was on the counter, and that's one I've just picked recently here. So it's you know, you know, they don't last too long. The heirlooms especially, you got to keep that in mind. Heirloom tomatoes will not keep as good as a hybrid like a big beef. Big beef, you can put them on the counter for, you know, a couple of weeks and they'll still be good. They won't spoil on you. But these heirlooms will not keep it. You'll have to eat them pretty soon. All right, let's go ahead and rate the Brandywine reds. Taste-wise, on a scale from 1 to 10, I'm going to rate them about a 5. The texture was not good on the inside. They were real pulpy. The inside was not firm and meaty like a good tomato's supposed to be. Like I say, no problem with the size. They got, you know, plenty of size to them. I mean, there was, you know, I mean, what can you say about that? But you know, just looking at one and, you know, cutting it open. I mean, you know, we're looking for flavor here. We're not looking for, you know, big tomatoes that don't have any flavor. So that's what I'll rate that as far as taste-wise. Prolificness, I'll rate that about a 5 to a 6. Now I'll go over a little further than that. I'll rate them about a 6.5, kind of like the Cherokee Purple as far as prolific, because they produced about as many as the Cherokee Purples did. Still had some blossom drop off, cool nights, like I say, lots of rainy days and go on for long lengths at a time. I mean, days and days, sometimes 2 weeks with no sunshine, high humidity, low temperatures. That's just kind of the thing you deal with. But that's where we are with those. I don't, those chances are you won't see me. I'm not going to say I won't grow the Cherokee Purple again in here, but the Brandywine's definitely out. I will not grow them in here again. I'll grow them outside. They do just fine. But due to the taste and everything, I'm just, I can deal with the lack of prolificness, a lack of quantity of tomatoes, but the taste just did not impress me at all. So I'm gonna scratch those and not do those again. All right, let's move on to the Rutgers, guys. Okay, this video is gonna get real long here if I don't watch out. Rutgers, same deal. Now the Rutgers did, they were a little more prolific than the Brandywines and the Cherokee Purples, but as far as, I'm just gonna go ahead and rate the taste on them. The taste was disappointing, was about the same as the Brandywine red. Flavor was not real good on them. They were kind of mushy on the inside. Tomatoes looked fine. Some of them got a decent size. Some of them did. Most of them, as you saw with the picture I showed you with them sitting on the counter right there, most of them were just average size. They didn't really, none of them get really big. Of course, Rutgers is not really known as a really big tomato anyway, but taste-wise, same deal, 5. Prolific, I'm gonna say 7 to a 7.5. Don't think I want to try these again. Not in the greenhouse. Like I said, they do fine outside, but that's where we are on those. And you come down to the big beefs right here. These are what I typically grow every year. I mean, and you guys that watch MHP Gardener, I mean, you know, he'll tell you right quick that you know, there's no need to try to invent the wheel. Just, you know, stay with something that works. And I've grown these religiously now for it'll be going on 5 years. I've been growing these things in the greenhouse, and they never ever let me down. They are, I mean, that tomato is beautiful. It is flawless. There is not one imperfection on it. You slice into it, juice runs all over the plate. It's nice and firm inside, and the taste, you just can't be beat. I'm telling you guys. The big beef is, this wasn't an experiment, but I got to rate it taste-wise. I got to rate it a 9 to a 9.5. Prolificness, I got to rate it about a 9 probably. Very good. I mean, so of course, you will see more of these in here in the future. But okay, guys, well, let's move on up. Let's get off the tomatoes, and we'll move on down to the other experiment we tried. The Dutch bucket carrots. You guys that watched that video when I did the carrot reveal right there, you saw some of those things look pretty pitiful. There was a lot of discussion going on in the comment sections and everything about you know, we talked about the media that the carrots were being grown in, and such as that. I think that had the most part to do with it. The carrots seemed to grow fine. They had a wonderful taste. They were ugly, but they had a great taste. I think the media was just too coarse to fully surround the roots tightly like they should. And in a minute, I'm going to show you all everything that's going on still in here, and I have replanted the smaller carrots, the small round carrots. But what I did was I took half of the perlite out and put vermiculite in there. I had a big bag of vermiculite, and it's a lot denser than the perlite. Of course, with that carrot, it doesn't get real big anyway, and it's a round carrot, so we'll see how that works out. But I will definitely try the carrots again. I said I was going to do it this year, but I'm running out of time here as far as, you know, cool weather and stuff like this. I might could get them grown out, but I do have some new ones planted now for those, the little small ones that don't take too long. We're going to try them. And but that's how that worked out with that. I mean, they grew fine. They seem to be happy in the nutrient environment. Lots of top green growth, but the roots just could not form like they should. So we'll try them again in some denser material next time, and we'll see how these do. This will give me an indication, even though it's not the long carrots, will give me an indication as to how this is going to work in the future. But I think the carrots were a keeper. Just the only problem with the carrots is if you want a lot of them, you're going to have room for them, you know, and all, because it just depends on how many carrots you use or whatever, you know, and all that. Like I say, this was just an experiment, like I say, guys, just to see what can be done and what can't be done in different media. But anyway, we'll move on from the carrots. And guys, this experiment right here, this pepper plant, this is a pepperoncini pepper plant. I had to cut this thing back. I did not shoot any video before I cut it back. I apologize for that. I'm not up on my game here lately these days, but trust me when I tell you, I could not get around it to walk down the aisle. So I heavily pruned this thing, and you want to talk about prolific? This thing just made thousands of peppers. I mean, it was just unreal. I mean, I probably put up, you know, 12 or 14 quarts of these things because I like them pickled. And you know, the only thing that I didn't like about them was I didn't get any heat out of them whatsoever. They just every once in a while you get a hold of one that had just a little bit of bite to it, But mostly, for the most part, they were mild peppers. They just were not hot at all. But man, you talking about the prolificness? Wow. I mean, it was just unreal. I can't describe it. I've never had a pepper plant make so many peppers in my life. But anyway, so I'm gonna rate this on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm gonna rate the flavor of the pepperoncini peppers. I'm going to give them about a 7.5 to an 8. Prolificness, I'm going to give them a 10. I just don't think they could. I think they could have done any better in any situation. So this right here is something good to do. You know, if you want to grow you some peppers to use for whatever purposes, especially if you want to pickle them in the wintertime like we've been doing, because I love them in salads, or I love to just put them on a plate and just eat them, you know. But even though they didn't have a lot of heat to them, they still were good. And I've still got plenty of them that's going to last me all through the summer. But anyway, let's move on. Here's our broccoli plant. As you can see, it's turned into a broccoli tree. This thing is huge. I have long since harvested the main part of the broccoli off the main flowerette. But as you can see right here, you look around and this thing, it's the reason I'm still keeping it, because it just continues to keep putting shoots off of it everywhere. I mean, you know, and my wife loves these. So she'll take them and put them in a salad or put them in a stir fry or something like that. So the plant's taking a lot of nutrients because it's so huge, but I figure as long as it's still producing something to eat, I'm going to keep it around. Because I mean, hey, these nutrients are cheap, man. I'm telling you. But all you gotta do is keep the reservoir full. But I'm Dutch bucket broccoli. I'm going to rate that taste-wise 9. Prolificness, I'm gonna have to give it a 9 as well. So that's very good thing to do. Dutch bucket broccoli. Do it. That's all I can tell you. Okay, guys, we'll move on down here to the Dutch bucket. The Cherokee celery. As you can see, most of it's about gone. We have ate a lot of celery off of this stuff, and one of them I tried cutting it off. As you can see right there at the base. In other words, kind of simulating what you would do in a grocery store if you bought it. You know, you cut it off about 1 inch from the bottom and stick it in water and root it. Well, it's been that way now for about 3 weeks, I guess, or more, and it's not showing any signs of trying to regrow again. So I guess doing it that way, you've only got one more shot at it, and that's after you buy it. But the other ones I didn't do, and as you can see right there, they've got some small sprouts coming back up on them. So I did not cut them off. I'm just going to let them go and see if they do. They've kind of slowed down drastically, but we'll see if they mature and do like the rest of them. If they don't, hey, nothing lost. You know, this has been wonderful. We've had plenty of celery all winter long. Still got some in the refrigerator. Remember my tin foil idea? Wrap it up in heavy duty tin foil, and it'll keep for weeks. You take it to the bank. It will work. But anyway, guys, one last thing on this side over here. I'm just going to show you the broccoli leaf kale plant. Broccoli leaf kale tree. Guys, this thing is even bigger than it was last year. It's just this is unreal. As you can see up there at the top, it's trying to bolt on me now. Finally, we got some flowers up there, so. Its days are numbered, but I wish you look at all that kale right there. I mean, and I have cut and cut and cut, and we can't keep up with it. I mean, you know, it's just I'll give it away. We've put it in soups, we've cooked them, we've put them in salads. I mean, you know, we just can't. I'm telling you, that plant right there. If you grow it like that, I guarantee you, it'll keep a family of 4 going that loves kale going, you know, for a while. But. Definitely a keeper there, guys. And as you can see behind me over here, I've finally replanted my lettuce bed again, and also I'm trying to experiment with Cherokee spinach. This is the Cherokee spinach right here. It's doing really good so far, guys. I think this is going to work out just fine. I really didn't have any doubts that it would. But like I said, it's something I haven't tried before, so we're trying it out, see how it works, and so far so good. And of course the lettuce, you know, the Paris Island romaine and the giant Caesar, they both speak for themselves. Those are our favorites. We keep growing them over and over again, and you know, and then they go for quite a while. But the time's winding down, like I say, guys, for these cool season plants and stuff. Getting, as you notice, we've been sitting here for quite a while now, and the cooling fan is not shut off yet. So it's showing 85.8 degrees in here right now. So we're heading uphill here as far as the temperatures go. So we're gonna have to get this stuff made and get done with it. But anyway, there you go. Okay, guys, that's gonna about wrap it up for this video. I know this thing wound up being a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but like I try to tell folks, you know, and all, I gotta I gotta take the time that I need to explain to you guys what's going on and why it's going on the best of my ability. And I try to, you know, that's the reason I do this, guys. I mean, you know, I don't just, you know, I could just grow this stuff and not shoot videos about it, you know, everything. But I feel like if you guys enjoyed it and it helped somebody to grow something and have fun doing it, then, you know, I want to be as informative as I possibly can. You guys, you know, leave comments in the comment section down there, ask questions, you know, send me private messages, whatever you want to do. I'll be glad always to discuss. I'm always open for suggestions. So you guys give them to me. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and click the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and until next time, may God bless you, and we'll see you next time.